My friend John Pineau is here. He takes one on and he just keeps coming back for more. And having done sex cases with him, I know and I can tell you that he really does an unbelievable job at them. He founded his firm after working for a decade in poverty law in Detroit, completed law school at CU in '94 as a King Scholar. He's president of the Gilpin County Bar Association. He's been an instructor in trial advocacy at University of Colorado School of Law and at DU School of Law, College of Law. He's a fellow in the Colorado Bar Foundation, a member of the Register of Preeminent Lawyers, participates in professional legal associations including CBA, Boulder County Bar, CCDB, NACDL. His clients have been on CBS Early Show, 60 Minutes 2, CNN, NPR, New York Times, LA Times, London Times, Le Monde, and other national and international media. Mr. Pineau's practice areas include civil rights, victims' claims, whistleblower claims, contract, criminal law, felonies, misdemeanors, sex assault, employment law, and personal injury. John Pineau and Kelsey Riccio.
Sex assault cases are so remarkably heavy and so serious where, you know, you're talking about a life sentence, you're talking about possibly the death penalty to be added at some time in the future, hopefully not, that I don't believe any human or mere human, or certainly not me, is up to the responsibility of handling those cases, much less do I believe that I'm worthy of speaking to you and telling you how you're supposed to handle these cases, because there's too much on the line for any one person to have that responsibility. So you can imagine the great weight that was lifted from my shoulders when they came up to me earlier and said, actually, you're going to be speaking at the sleepiest time of the entire day, completely abandon the agenda, don't worry about it at all. Your number one and only goal is just to keep these people from falling asleep. And so we've done whatever we could think of to try to you know, add some interest to provide some showbiz to our presentation. My assistant here, Kelsey Riccio, who's been with me for about 4 years, through all these types of cases, is going to be handling the PowerPoint. I couldn't even begin to tell you how the PowerPoint works, although I did have some role in picking out some of these photographs. But other than that, I'm really not aware of anything, any kind of technology. I'm going to talk to you about 3 different areas. The pretrial area, which I think really the most important aspect of that is the investigation in the pretrial area. We'll deal with both a little bit of the practice side, because they wanted me to talk about some practice, and the case law update side as well. Okay? And then we're going to deal with the trial aspect of the case. And again, we're going to talk about a little bit of practical side, and we're going to talk about the legal update. And the law in the last year in sex offense cases has not been too bad. Okay? And then finally, of course, we're going to talk about treatment in sex offense cases. And Kelsey, you are a very bad girl. That is not the picture we picked for treatment. Let's be a little more serious here. Let's do the real treatment picture, if you could. Right. Sex offense treatment. Actually, Kelsey, that's wrong. Now, I want the real treatment picture for sex offense treatment in Colorado. There you go. It's my understanding that this is an actual photograph of somebody being administered the plumsmograph, or possibly Clockwork Orange. In either case, we're really talking about the exact same thing. So anyways, those are the 3 things we'll be talking about. Pretrial investigation, the trial itself, and post-trial, really the treatment aspect. So let's go first to pretrial. In my mind, the most important aspect of the pretrial feature of the case is the investigation. The client has come into your office. You've just described to them that they're probably going to be a registered sex offender for the rest of their life, and they have no life. And most likely because of that, if they suffer a conviction, that they're going to die in prison. And that really they have nothing to hope for. There's a lot of time to talk about the law and bore them about the law, but You can do that later. Attorneys just do that naturally, bore people with the law. But the thing you really need to do right off the bat on a case like this is get your butt in the car with an investigator and get to the scene. That's where you're going to make the difference in the case. In sex assault cases, more than in any case, you can make the difference by going to the scene and finding evidence. Many people misassess these cases by deciding or making the mistake of saying, well, it's a he said, she said case, there's really nothing we can do. Let the police make that mistake. In a he said, she said case, the evidence that exists, even if it's incremental, is even more important, has more effect on the outcome of the case than in any case, because there is no evidence. So if the only physical evidence in the case is like one fragment of an earring that happens to show where somebody was at a particular time, you control the physical evidence in a he said, she said case. You can say that the only physical evidence in the case is what we found when we went to the scene. So you need to get to the scene. And if you're going to go to the scene, don't go alone, because you're going to lose your license if you do it that way, and you're not going to be able to put the evidence into the record because somebody has to lay the foundation for that evidence. So on your way to the scene, pick up an investigator, somebody who knows what the hell they're doing, somebody who in particular can take fingerprints and can collect DNA evidence. That's not any investigator, so you have to know ahead of time who to grab. When we go to the scene, like firemen or firewomen, we keep everything. I mean, we have a packet ready to go. So I've got a tape recorder in case somebody happens to give me a really good statement. We got it there, the tape's ready to go. If I press it right now, it will be recording me. I'm almost sure of that. I'm not going to waste time with that, but it would do it. I take a film camera. This is an idiot-proof camera. It'll work no matter what. It uses film because when you use film, it's a little easier to show that you haven't manipulated it, the photograph, if you try to admit it. If you use something electronic, they can mess around with whether you've tampered with the photograph. We take a DVD camera to record the scene. Juries love videos. We'll talk about how to do those a little bit in the future. I take this light here. This light will identify semen. If you're looking for semen, this light will find it in other bodily fluids. You can get this for about $200 and find all the semen anywhere you want. You can do it on your free time. Go and locate semen with this light for $200.